Good morning to each and every one here. Honorable Ministers and Secretary of Foreign Affairs of this great institution, and all you ambassadors and representatives of our peoples of the Americas and the Caribbean who are here today. As President of COSATE, I bring to you all greetings from our 55 million workers and their families throughout our hemisphere. I am Robert Giuseppi, President of COSATE. I am from the Twin Island Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the most southerly state of the Caribbean archipelago. Honorable members, it is truly great to be a part of this auspicious gathering on the occasion of the 39th General Assembly. The theme of this assembly, non-violence, is most appropriate, if not timely. It certainly captures and shows clearly that this assembly has identified yet another major crisis that stalks our region and the entire globe. We do have a global crisis of violence. In my country, in the city of Port of Spain, on the 17th of April 2009, the workers presented and submitted their declaration to you, the honorable people. I am now craving your indulgence a bit to restate and return and remind you all on a few points that were made. My comrades at the side of me, they will develop in terms of the violence and in terms of the workers' position. I will just like to reiterate some of the points that we brought at Port of Spain. Our demands at the 5th Summit of the Americas showed in no uncertain manner that it is essential that we must all come together. We need to eradicate the violence that workers and the common people, who I may say make up the majority of people in this hemisphere, and these common people are exposed every hour, every day, and every month of the year to the violence of false democracy, to the violence of poverty, to the violence of inequality, to the violence of discrimination in all its forms, to the violence of job and income insecurity, and to the violence of unaffordable food and energy. We have looked at this situation, and we did present a document, and I will praise it as fast as possible to give my comrades a chance to get into the meat of the matter. At present, our region and the world face the worst crisis since the 30s. It is called the perfect crisis because it encompasses several dimensions, all impacting directly on the life of workers worldwide and in Americas in particular. This crisis constitutes the end of the concept of development as a linear and infinite process of appropriation and transformation of natural resources, as well as the end of the neoliberal model of economic globalization, which insisted that the open market and its different forms will well relegate and organize the planet's production and consumption. The expression, the perfect crisis, had already claimed its victims. Millions of workers have lost their jobs and millions are about to lose them if the crisis has yet touched bottom, as everything seems to indicate. As well as unemployment and its repercussions on poverty, deregulation and increasing precariousness of employment, our societies are paying for climate change and difficult access to food, especially affecting the most vulnerable group, that is the poorest of the poor. With the establishment, we believe that the main responsibility for this crisis is and was the governments of many of our countries. The governments of world power, through their political and economic clout, and that of international institutions that they have utilized or neutralized, modeled the world that cracked at the end of last year. Only blaming irresponsible bankers is to deny the responsibility of those that were responsible for the regulation of financial markets. Blaming only the industrial sector and consumers for exceeding the planet's capacity is to deny the responsibility of those who should have limited one kind of production and consumption long ago and should have invested in advancing towards another development model for the global economy. Therefore, we the workers demand the governments of our countries to respond with efficiency, innovation, and commitment to safeguard the destiny of humanity and the well-being of workers. We believe that this crisis also involves a crisis of distributed justice. That is the disconnect between salary increase and productivity increase. The privatization of public utilities that neglects the supply of world public resources such as environment, social protection, food security, increasing job precariousness, increasing informality in the labor relations, and the deregulation of the labor market. In short, the disconnect between wealth, development, and solidarity. For the perspective of the trade union, the way out of this crisis will be done in greater